Okay, I wanted to go over this with you, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, because of all this stuff that's going on with these banks, and make a comparison a little bit with the banks in the U.S. versus just even in St. Kitts. I mean, if you're going to be going in places that are outside the U.S., I would not maybe put a huge amount of money in the Caribbean. The places that I think are real safe are places like I actually like Singapore better than Switzerland, and you see what's happening with Credit Suisse, although that's real rare because Switzerland has very few problems with banking issues. But I actually like Singapore even better. I just like Singapore. I think the safety factor is real good there. But either place is very, very safe. But if you look at the number of banks that are going under in the U.S., it's just incredible, or either rescued by the FDIC. Remember, the insurance now is $250,000 if you're a citizen of the U.S. And so you're able to safeguard up to that amount of money. If you have over that, then you're going to have to worry about a bailout to get your money if that occurs. Now, they showed here a list of over 500 banks. In fact, and it shows actually the time when these things started to fail. In fact, the list is actually 565 entries that they had here. Now, for 2023, they've already had two, which y'all heard a lot on the news on, which is Silicon Valley Bank. That was a real big one. And then right after that one, Signature Bank. That was almost right afterwards. In fact, March the 10th was Silicon Valley Bank, and then 2 days later, March the 12th, was Signature Bank. Now, if you go back, there wasn't any banks showing here for 2022 or 2021. But in 2020, you did have 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 of them. And then 2019, there was 1, 2, 3, 4. And now that seems like maybe a small number of banks when you look at the size of the U.S. But this is going to increase quite a bit, I think, with interest rates going up. And the banks have these low interest rate loans out. It can affect their bottom line profit. And if people start getting shaky and want to pull all their money out, and these banks have the money lent out, and they don't have liquidity because the money is lent out, you could have a real problem that could occur here. It's not so much the financial stability; it's the people thinking that bank's got the money in there. If they get scared and they want to pull their money out, it can make a bank that's normally looks like it's pretty solid, that doesn't have the cash on hand, to all of a sudden just go kaput. And so, this is one thing I do like, though, about St. Kitts. I've been here 16 years. Not one bank has gone under. I don't know how far you go back, because I haven't done studies going back maybe 100 years in St. Kitts. But all I can tell you is I've been here 16 years, and not one bank has gone under. You've had tons of banks in the U.S. that have gone under over the last 16 years, okay? Now, I just gave you a few of the last few years. So, and one thing here, too, in St. Kitts, they've got very good asset protection laws. And now they're making Bitcoin, they're looking into getting Bitcoin Cash legal tender. That's supposed to be, they're making some big decisions, in fact, this month on that. But you can do your own decision making on banks that you choose in St. Kitts and Nevis. I'll tell you one bank I like particularly is the National Bank, also called the St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla National Bank. The other ones, they're just a lot, well, there's a lot of reasons I like this one better. The exchange rate's better. You've got other things that I like better too. In fact, it is the biggest bank here, and I think what you'll find out too, when you come down, you'll see more people go to this bank. It is a government-owned bank. It is, when I say government-owned bank, it is publicly traded, so part of the stock is owned by private individuals. But I also feel, and I can't guarantee this, and don't hold me to this, but if something happened too with that bank, it is government owned, so they do have a choice. I'm not saying they would do this, but they do have a choice if they wanted to actually print money and then bail out people like the U.S. is doing right now, they would have that option because the EC dollar, in fact, the main office for the Eastern Caribbean Bank is here in St. Kitts, but I'm not saying they would do that, but they would have that option, okay? And of course, they would have that option with another bank too if they wanted to do it. But St. Kitts is a very conservative place. They don't really like waiting for banks to get in that situation anyway. Like I said, I've been here 16 years, and not one bank has had this type of problems. I haven't seen any of the banks here go under, and they are very conservative here. So this is some things that are really nice here. And like I said, if the government approves, crypto, they've already got a cryptocurrency approved here to use, but I'm talking about is making it legal tender, then you're going to see probably more than likely the banks all getting involved with it, okay? Now, these particular banks in the U.S. that are going under, a lot of this is dealing with interest rates. Now, remember I had mentioned to you, I did this on another video, banks here do make loans out, but they don't do it on citizenship properties. They make money on other ways. But it is illegal for banks here to do loans on citizenship properties. In fact, a lot of the people that take loans out here are usually local people getting houses. They're not expats coming in. And banks here, they just make it in different areas. They're not really stuck to doing, loans and things like this. And of course, loan rates are higher typically in St. Kitts dealing with the EC dollar than in the U.S. dollar. That's typical. But then your interest rates on time deposits are typically going to be higher in EC dollar rates than U.S. dollars. And of course, that goes up as these, as inflation, as they continue to fight inflation, and the Fed in the U.S. keeps raising interest rates to combat inflation. So, it's got a lot of benefits, I think, doing banking in St. Kitts. But again, I would not be putting a lot of cash in St. Kitts banks. I do prefer Singapore and Switzerland, and maybe even Hong Kong, but I would maybe pull away from Hong Kong now since China's taking over. I don't feel real comfortable about Hong Kong like I used to with China coming in and infiltrating their ideas and things into the Hong Kong system. They say it's a separate country, but they're not treating it that way. And other countries are not really doing anything about it because, China owns the country and they got nuclear bombs. So, it's like nobody wants to get involved with that. So, that I would stay clean out of putting a lot of money in Hong Kong. Now, if you've got a company there and you're living there and you feel comfortable about it, fine, but that's just the way I feel. Anyway, folks, if you want to learn more on this, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And again, don't forget, hit the subscribe button right on your screen right here, and you get new videos automatically as they come out. And I look forward to talking to you in the next video. Take care.